Hey guys, what's going on? So, we are going to be talking about level 4 tree guy, according to Mitch the Kit. If you ever join my live streams, Mitch the Kit is one of the people that is one of my constant viewers, and he calls it level 4 tree guy because we don't know how to say his name. I believe. So the closest that I've come to figuring out what his name is Treant. Because he is both a tree and he's kind of like an ent from Lord of the Rings. So he's Treant. But that might be wrong, and I'm going to say that throughout this entire video. But I will say that something that whenever I say it, whenever I say Treant, it just sounds like somebody with an accent trying to say Trent. Like in my head, I just hear Treant. And that's what I constantly hear every single time I hear it. So in the case that I say that, that's why. It just sounds like somebody with a weird accent trying to say Trent. It's Treant. So they just announced officially, Discord, YouTube, they just announced that 26.1 is going to be releasing very soon. So for anybody wondering, hey, when does this come out? I don't know. They never give specific dates, but just stay on the Rush Royale Discord, and they will slowly talk about all of these things in separate posts. So the things that they will talk about, and then it will drop, like very shortly after that, it will drop, is the Festival of Talents is back. And then they'll talk about Death Waves, and then they'll talk about Treant, because that is coming out in the Festival of Talents. That is going to be your new event unit. That is going to come out in Festival of Talents. Presumably, when that comes out in an event in the actual game, like Mirror Match or Royal Trials or Rush for Glory, one of those, they will be retiring, theoretically, Riding Hood into Laboratory of Experiments. So if you don't already know, in Laboratory of Experiments, you can currently get every single time. You can currently get basically every single unit except for Bard, Genie, and Riding Hood. But the one unit that they have now previewed when you go to Laboratory of Experiments is Riding Hood. So when you go into here, sometime after a new unit is out, Riding Hood. And then Riding Hood, so then that'll be in the Laboratory of Experiments. You can exchange for your chance of getting it, and then Treant will be in some kind of thing. Let's see if we can predict that. We can't. Actually, no, we can. It'll probably go into Rush for Glory. So Rush for Glory currently is Sea Dog, Riding Hood, Sea-Dog and Riding Hood. If they take Riding Hood and then throw it into Laboratory of Experiments, then it becomes like a regular. Or no, wait. Would Riding Hood still be a legendary? I don't know now. Maybe they'll add it? Because I don't think they'll take it away. Maybe one will just have. Well, technically you can get any unit from anything. So I guess that doesn't matter, because you can always just get any event unit from any event. So them saying, oh, that actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, oh, play Rush for Glory because you can get Sea Dog or Riding Hood. That actually doesn't make sense anymore because you can get anything from any event. They need to revamp these pictures. I think that's all that tells me. But anyway. So they announced 26.1, and when they make separate posts about Festival of Talents, a separate post about Treant, a separate post about Death Wave. If you don't know about Death Wave, the previous video that I just did on this channel, I talk about Death Wave. And then other changes and improvements, more convenient and correct selection of equipment in regular events. I'm very excited for that, because that's the only thing that we desperately need in events, because that aspect is random. The computer the game just picks a random equipment, and a random equipment and a random all of your equipment, your armor, your weapon, and your amulet. It just gives you random stuff, and I've never liked that aspect of it. And then so that now there's going to be kind of a choice, I suppose. Obtaining a unit from experiments will become more accessible. The number of, that's also important. So if you are thinking about using your laboratory of experiments, I would suggest waiting until after this patch drops. And then the number of battles in the fight for first place in the Challenge of 7 will be reduced. A lot of people were complaining about Challenge of 7 taking too long because you, as a 7K player, might have really long games, but somebody that is also thrown in with you as like a 2K player might have shorter games. And at which point, even if you win all 7 of your games, you're never going to beat somebody with like a 2K crit who's just blowing through game after game after game because their opponents are dying much sooner. So I think that this will be a little bit better for Challenge of 7. I think the reason why it's called Challenge of 7 is because it's 7 battles, so maybe they'll call it the Challenge of 2 or something. Because now at that point, now they have to like change the name. Or maybe is it Challenge of 7 because it's 7 players? I don't even know. This is how often I play Challenge of 7. Is it 7 players? And is it also 7 battles? Do you also? Yeah, it's 7 battles and 7 players. So, yeah, they'd have to, I guess they could keep the name, and then it's just Challenge of 7 because it's 7 players, but it's like 4 battles or something. I suppose they could keep the name. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is Steven Stanton 8554. Demon Hunter needs buff. Unit is dead. And to your point, Steven Stanton 8554. Treant is a Demon Hunter replacement. That is what I'm going with. Isn't that cool that I got to merge my my regular videos with my shorts? I was so excited when he posted this on this post that I was already going to talk about. I was like, oh, I hope Steven Stanton made an appearance, and he did 4 hours ago. The man is back. The man with the plan is back. Demon Hunter needs buff. Unit is dead. I feel like they came out with this unit to appease people that play Demon Hunter, because this is a very Demon Hunter-y unit. If you know anything about Demon Hunter and Absorption of Evil and the talents and the mechanics, this unit is incredibly similar. I am not saying it's the same unit, but in the same way that I would have said the same thing about Genie being a literal monk equivalent, it's obviously not. They play very differently. But like, I remember when Genie first came out, I was like, oh, so it's basically just a monk, right? It's just Monk 2.0. It's just a better version of Equilibrium Monk. And it's kind of that, but it is different. But, you know, like, you could see the similarities. You could see how somebody might think that. And I think that this is very much like a Demon Hunter-y type unit. A couple of, so like, as much as I want to go through the talents, because I know maybe that's the thing that you want to talk about, you kind of have to know how the unit even works, because it is not just a regular standard unit. It is not just a unit that you place on the field and then I can run through talents and then it makes sense. You have to understand the active play style that is this unit. Now, the reason why I call it a Demon Hunter, like Demon Hunter 2.0, is not only because of the similarities, but because of one simple fact that I will get to that I want to get to first. Treants are immune to effects that decrease ranks. Instead, they lose 1 leaf for each corresponding change. The biggest problem with a Demon Hunter deck is Tribunal. Trying to get to 40 ranks and then getting Tribunaled hits you so hard. If you don't already know, Tribunal is the end game killer. If you die, and I've gone through this in a number of different like in my lives. I probably have talked about this in a post, but I have gone through this. If you die in the game at a later stage, like you're going into triple bosses, the reason why you were dying is probably most likely because you got Tribunaled. Tribunal hits immediately, and if you cannot kill instantly a Tribunal, it'll rank down all of your units. And when all of your units, or half of your units, but when all of your units get ranked down from 7 to 6, or in the case of double bosses, and I understand that, Death Wave, the Death Wave is a thing, and this is going to become mitigated. But in the current state of the game, if your things go from 7 to 6, and then maybe if you get double tribunaled, your things go from 6 to 5. So your things went effectively from 7 to 5. Losing that amount of attack speed with your units, or half of your units, is a huge blow to your damage. At which point you are more likely to get hit by the next boss if you can't immediately re-upgrade them. It's the reason why Zeus is so good, that it has the ability to re-upgrade all of your units. Not only can you do it the regular way, where you can scrapper and hope to get a scrapper hit, but your Zeus is also an additional, I'm just going to press this button and all my units go back to 7s. And that's the main reason why Zeus is so good. It allows late game decks to go even further late game when they get tribunaled. When your Demon Hunter deck gets tribunaled and you lose all of those ranks on all of your Demon Hunters, you're losing not only just ranks, but you're losing abilities. So you're trying to get to 40. If you drop back down to 30, 35, and you're not at 40 anymore, you're losing all of that attack speed as well as all of that damage. This thing is immune to those kinds of effects. It cannot be ranked down. So instead of getting red guide or tribunaled and losing that rank, you instead lose a leaf. Each leaf gives you more power, so you are losing power, but it's very much so better than losing an actual rank. The other thing that you need to know is that these can only go to 4 rank. They can only be a tier 4. They are exactly like Demon Hunter in that each tier gives you better things. So in the terms of Demon Hunter, when you get to 20 merges, you get a higher attack speed, or you get the double hits. What do you get with Demon Hunter? You know what? I'm gonna go. This is why I have this open all the time. I can just go back to Demon Hunter. I love that I'm talking about Demon Hunter in a Treant video. Every Demon Hunter receives an additional damage bonus. So 20, on reaching 20 total combined merge ranks, the Hunter receives an extra 25% damage, and then when you get 40, it receives 50% extra damage. And then in terms of like every time you merge rank them up, you're attacking that many more things. So a level 2 will attack 2 things, a level 3 will attack 3 things, level 4 will attack 4 things, and then there's little thresholds, not unlike a Riding Hood as well, but at 20 you're getting a percentage damage boost, and then at 40 you're getting another percentage damage boost. Treant kind of works in the exact same way. Once your Treant gets to rank 2, you get a bonus to attack speed. At rank 3, you're getting an area attack, and then at rank 4, you get a damage bonus. You get all of those other things plus an additional damage bonus. Knowing both of these things, your next question should be, well, how do you merge them up? Because getting to merge rank 4 seems very easy. Like, you can Dryad your way to doing that in most decks. But the way that Treant works is a little bit different. So essentially, it always comes out as a rank 1. So I'm pretty sure if you were to merge out 2 swords, for example, 2 like level 3 swords, and you get a Treant, you're gonna get a level 1 Treant. You're not gonna get a level 4 Treant. And I think the reason for that is because if you were to merge out 2 level 4s and you got a level 5, that would presumably give you a level 5 Treant, but they cannot go to above a level 4. So when you merge out 2 level 4 things and you get a Treant, it will be a level 1 Treant. This is actually incredibly helpful to you, though, because when you merge them, instead of merge ranking up like a regular unit, it will instead get leaf charges. And so then, so when I go into this, this will start to make sense. The Treant receives 2 leaf charges for every 1 rank of the Treants used for merging. And that is how you are going to merge rank up all of your Treants. Units and abilities that increase rank give 1 leaf charge. Because of this sentence, I don't think your goal in this deck is to run either Dryad or Scrapper. Getting a singular leaf charge for either a Dryad or a Scrapper hit seems very bad. And if you're using it for the other abilities, like the Fairy of Rage, I don't think that's the way to use it either. You could presumably use it for Scrapper. Actually, no. I was going to say that you might want to use a Knight statue in this, but then how would you rank up your Knight statue if you don't use Dryad or Scrapper? And I feel like if you were going to run something like that, you would potentially have to run either a Dryad or Scrapper. But I think the version of this deck that I like the most is the standard deck that a lot of people are running for a lot of different units, which is your support cards are Harley Quinn, Trapper, Witch, Enchant Sword. I think that version of a deck with this card seems very strong. Because I don't think you actually need you don't need to upgrade anything in that deck. You could have level 1 Trappers. You can merge up into like level 2, level 3 Trappers or whatever. And that's fine. Like if you just happen to merge 2 swords and you get a Trapper, that's fine. And then because this card also has a secondary mechanic that is not unlike Dark Pact for Demon Hunter. Its mana ability is basically Dark Pact. And if you play Demon Hunter, Dark Pact is the way that you have the ability to continue summoning in and merging out, and summoning in and merging out, and there's a flow that comes from that. I'll get to it, but I'm just trying to make you understand that I don't think that you need you don't need a Dryad or a Scrapper in this kind of deck. I think that the best version of this deck is just a Demon Hunter type merge deck, where every single time you get a Treant, you're merging them and you're trying to build up like a bunch of level 4 Treants. Whenever you get you put them next to Witches, you merge out Witches, you get more Treants or Enchant Swords. You merge Enchant Swords. Like, I think the flow of this deck sounds so cool to me. Like, I'm picturing it and the flow sounds so cool to me. Because then when you accidentally merge into high level awkward things, like a level 5 Enchant Sword, if you were to accidentally merge 2 level 4 Witches or something, and then you accidentally merge into a level 4 Enchant Sword, like really high Enchant Sword, the mana ability, whenever you use a mana power-up, it doesn't have an upgrade ability, it has a mana power. The mana power-up is basically Dark Pact for Demon Hunter. Reduce the rank of a random unit that is not a Treant of the highest level. That grants 1 leaf to each of as many Treants as the number of ranks that affected unit has. So the bigger the thing, the bigger the bonus that you're going to get for all of your Treants. And then, as you understand, units in so once every 6 leaf charges, so once you start merging a bunch of things onto, or merging Treants together, once you get 6 charges, the Treant increases its rank, but it only has 4 merge ranks. So essentially, what you can do is just keep merging all of your field. You can keep merging out the Witches to get Witch stacks. You keep merging out the Enchant Swords to get Enchant Sword stacks and to get Trappers. You could, once you have too many Trappers, because you should be running like 2 or 3 Trappers, once you get more than that amount of Trappers on the field, you can merge out those Trappers. And then when those become treants, you can merge the treants into your regular treants. If they don't become treants and they become awkward level witches, trappers, or enchant swords, you can then use the mana ability to give all of your treants stacks that will then merge rank up themselves. And then after they become level 4, they will then just acquire damage over damage over damage in stacks. I really like the flow of this card. I think that it's a very unique kind of deck, and it feels very much like a Demon Hunter 2.0. It's like they took everything that a Demon Hunter had, and they understood all of its weaknesses, and they were like, you know what, we're gonna make this better. We can do this and make it better. This is like the event version of a Demon Hunter. Just like the monk, like Genie is like the event version of a monk. It feels like it's kind of similar, and it's in this case it's very similar. The joke that everybody is making right now is the regeneration ability. So the level 11 regeneration ability, the level 11 left side regeneration ability is when receiving a negative effect, it has a 20% chance to be cleansed of them. That's literally the level 11 ability for Demon Hunter. It's slightly different. Oh my god, every single time. It's slightly different wording, but it is literally the same thing. I think it's really funny to me that they even came up with different wording for it. I'm gonna just to show you how funny this is. Cloak of Shadows, there's a 20% chance of the Demon Hunter cleansing herself of negative effects when they are received. Treant is when receiving a negative effect has a 20% chance to be cleansed of them. It's literally the same thing, and it's bad. Don't use it in the same way that no Demon Hunter player uses this ability, and you should use Defoliation. The Dark Pact ability, which is also the level 11 ability, once per wave when destroying a boss, it will reduce the merge rank of the highest ranked non-Demon Hunter unit and will apply marks to 3 multiple times the number. That's literally the mana ability of this unit. They took both of these abilities and just gave it to Treant and then gave it additional abilities. It's so funny. Like the similarities. It's like they literally were like, Steven Stanton 8554, stop complaining about Demon Hunter. We will give you this unit and it will be better. Just invest in this unit and use this one instead, man. It's great. It's a great unit. And we're really sorry. We don't want to upgrade Demon Hunter. It's fine. Like, just invest into this card and it's better. It'll be fine, Steven Stanton 8554. With all that being said, let's go into these talents. Arboreal Guard. Treants of Merge Rank 4 gain the ability to accumulate leaves and a 40% bonus to critical damage. Every leaf adds 5% to damage dealt. After 10 leaves, the bonus is reduced to 1%. Even getting 1% per leaf just on a mana ability is crazy. The mana ability is a problem, obviously, with the new update with Death Wave. But I think that the idea that it can just continuously, you can just hit the button and all of your units get leaves, and you're getting an increased percentage every single time. You're just gonna want to hit that button all the time. Just as soon as it is refreshed, you're just gonna hit it again and again and again. There is literally no reason why you don't hit that button. The ability to gain a Merge Rank 4, the ability to accumulate leaves and 40% bonus. The ability to accumulate leaves sounds like it's a passive ability, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just a passive ability. The 40% damage bonus to critical damage is pretty good, but the ability to accumulate leaves sounds like it's a passive ability, and I'm not sure. It sounds like a passive ability, but I don't know when it would trigger. unless treants normally don't get leaves beyond the level 4. Unless like a regular treant, I suppose it's possible that a level 4 doesn't gain additional leaves ever if you have it at base level, and you have to have it at least at level 9 to get leaves beyond that. Maybe that's what they're saying. Actually, I think that might be what they're saying. That a level 4 treant doesn't actually gain leaves beyond level 4. It just gets to level 4 and stays there, at which point now you just have to build up other level 4s. But if you had the level 9 ability, then it would have the ability to gain more beyond just being a level 4. I think that's probably what they mean. Mycelium Masters treants of Merge Rank 4 gain the ability to accumulate leaves, while also increasing the damage dealt by treants by 7%. Each leaf adds 0.35% to the damage increase. So with this one, this makes me think that is exactly what it is. If you have a base level treant, once you get it to level 4, it doesn't gain leaves above that. Once you get to level 9, it now has the ability to gain levels above that. At which point, all of your treants will gain 7%, and then each leaf adds 0.35% damage to the damage increase, as opposed to 1%. It feels like this one gives you a 40% damage, 40% bonus to critical damage. You're adding 5% up to 10 leaves, and then you're getting 1%. Or no, Mycelium Masters is not the way to go. I'm pretty sure it's just Arboreal Guard. Getting 1%, like getting the initial 5% per leaf up to 10 leaves, which is already, what is that, 50 damage, 50%? And then getting 1% afterwards, as opposed to 0.35. I don't understand these numbers. This seems obviously better. This seems very obviously better. Plus, you're getting 40% to critical damage. This one, you're getting a 7% base just as soon as you hit it. But this has just better growth. I don't understand why this is even a choice. I mean, like, all of these numbers are subject to change, but, like, this doesn't make sense to me. Arboreal Guard seems so much better. Regeneration, we already talked about. Don't use it. What you should be using is the defoliation. The amount of leaves resulting from using Mana Power Up has a chance of 40% to be doubled. Because you're going to keep wanting to merge down all of your high level things, and like I said, you're just going to be hitting that button all the time. This is going to give you a huge boost. 40% chance to be doubled sounds crazy. Getting more leaves is always a good thing, because more leaves is more percentage of damage, and you're just simply not going to use regeneration. My problem with regeneration is obviously the same problem that I had with the cleanse on the Demon Hunter. If your thing already is Dark Priested, you have to get a second effect thrown at you in order for that chance to cleanse again. And because it's such a low percentage chance, it doesn't have the ability to work to begin with. But then you now have to get hit again in order for it to kick in, to theoretically kick in that second time when you get a second effect. You could argue that with everybody playing red enchant swords, and giving you red enchant swords, that could be the 20% chance might trigger more often, because there are so many like just dumb like effects happening to you. But I don't think it's better. In the same way that I think that people that run Demon Hunter decks don't run the cleanse ability, they'd rather run Dark Pact. I think that, and it works for them. I think that if you just run Mermaid with this deck and triple counterspell, like, you should be fine. And you, like, regeneration is not worth it to run something else. I think that Mermaid in this deck to give you more mana, because you're going to be summoning in a lot. I think that running Mermaid and then just running triple counterspell is the way to run this with defoliation to give you like better bonuses every single time you use your mana ability. Spiny Roots is, upon receiving a leaf, the Treant spreads spiny roots that deal 200% damage to the Treant every 0.5 for 5 seconds. This seems good. And in videos that are currently out on YouTube everywhere, this seems to be the thing that most people are using. Dealing 200% damage of the Treant every 0.5 for 5 seconds, it feels like it's a full field, like, Banshee type ability. The downside is that it's an activated ability. So when you receive a leaf, I believe that individual Treant, I'm not sure if it's full field or if it's localized. I can't actually remember. Part of me thinks that it's full field, but, like, if you were to upgrade one and it gains a leaf, you know what? I think that's the reason why people use this. I believe it's full field, and you just have to, one thing has to get a leaf, at which point an entire spiny root goes across the entire field, dealing 200% damage to the Treant every point of that Treant, presumably of that Treant that you just upgraded or that you just gave a leaf to. That percentage of damage every 0.5 for 5 seconds. I feel like it seems good. Because you should be getting leaves all the time, whether you're using the mana ability, at which point you could use the mana ability during boss rounds, or just by merging things, and merging into a Treant, because you can merge 2 level 1s. Because once you get to, like, level 4s on your main, you know, like your 4 or 5 Treants that you're trying to build up, you will still summon in Treants. And if you merge 2 level 1s, it gets a leaf, at which point this ability would activate as well. So not only is it on mana ability, but just merging 2 Treants would do this exact same thing as well. I feel like this is good. I don't normally gravitate towards activated abilities, like abilities that only happen with a clause. I don't necessarily like them. Like, the biggest example might be Boreas. The Boreas ability where if you merge 2 Boreases, the other Boreases go into hyperspeed. I don't like clauses like that, which is why I will always choose the other one on Boreas. Am I going to go back into my Rush Royale and it's going to... Oh, okay, no. I was like, I have Rush Royale, so, like, I might as well just use this. So, Second Breath. You get a 35% chance the transition to second phase is reactivated. I would rather use this, that you have a 35% chance passively to just transfer to the second phase, which is the super speed phase, as opposed to when merging, all Boreases enter the second phase. And then and it's a clause, like you have to have 2 Boreases for this to even happen, and then you have to sacrifice both of them by merging them in order for you to get the super ability from everybody. I would rather have a passive ability that does the exact same thing. But with that being said, I do think that Spiny Roots is probably better than this one. The passive ability one is every 15th time it attacks, the Treant throws a toxic mushroom at random monsters, briefly stunning it and dealing 300% damage. Bosses and mini-bosses are priority targets. I do like this. Like I said, I am more prone to using passive abilities that just work because they work, as opposed to me having to remember to do something in order for an effect to happen. Every 15th time it attacks is interesting because it depends on how fast it attacks. The thing that I will always go back to is Blade Dancer's 1% Dance of the Wind. The ultimate ability on Blade Dancer, where it sends the vortex all the way through the entire wave, is a 1% chance. But Blade Dancer attacks so fast that that ability activates all the time, or what feels like all the time, especially because you have so many Blade Dancers and they all do that effect. It's possible that every 15th attack is more attacks than you'd think, at which point you'd be getting 300% damage and a stun. It seems pretty good, because also whenever you add stuns to abilities, you can theoretically win off of slow. If both of you get bedlammed, but you have the ability to stun, even though neither of you are going to kill the wave or kill the boss, if you can stun and they can't, you might win off of that. It is technically a win condition. I'm gonna have to look at some testing on both of these in order to make a definitive answer of what I think is better. I think the other two are very, very obvious. You're using Arboreal Guard defoliation, but I think Spiny Roots and Mushroom Nausea, that feels like a toss-up. If it attacks fast enough to where Mushroom Nausea is activating all the time, I think I'd rather just use this. If Spiny Roots is the full field and it's whenever you get any leaf, that also sounds crazy because you should be getting leaves all the time. But the last ability is just more damage. When receiving a leaf, the Treant has 20% chance to receive another leaf. So with defoliation mixed with this, it's going to be insane. If there are 4 Treants of rank 4 or I don't know why it says or above, because it only goes to rank 4. You can't get a rank 5. Right? Isn't that the whole thing? Why does it say above? What does it mean rank 4 or above? You can't get a level 5. I don't believe you can get a rank 5 Treant. All Treants increase the chance of dealing critical damage by 5%. Getting a 5% chance, a crit chance is very good. But yeah, that's the whole card. And you can definitely see these in videos. The videos are out there. They are everywhere. Nate Dogg Gaming has one. Momo Royale obviously has one. I believe Afrin Gaming just did a stream using it. But I do think it's good. As a Forest Faction main person, I am very excited to get this unit and try it out. I'm totally going to definitely try this. I really like it. I like the mechanic. I like the deck build that's in my head. That it's Harley Quinn, Trapper, Witch, Enchant Sword, and you're just building up 4 or 5 Treants, and then you're using 2 Trappers, 3 Trappers, and you're just going Enchant Sword crazy, and then you're just using the mana ability to level down everything in order for you to just keep merging out. It sounds really good to me. I don't know. I'm excited to use it. I would have rather have had when it was the Acorn, the Acorn was just revealed, I was hoping for another support unit, because I feel like them just adding good unit after good unit after good unit is very, it's very laddery. It's very endless laddery to me. When you released Riding Hood last year during Halloween, and then you released the better card Genie, and then you released the better card Bard, and then you released this guy, the better card Treant, and I'm not saying that all of those are, in that order better than the other thing, but I'm just saying the fact that they just keep releasing the newest best DPS unit makes them all feel the same, and it makes you feel do I need to invest in this new thing if the old thing is still pretty good? You don't need to get Bard if you have a max Riding Hood. You don't need to feel that need when Genie came out. I need to get Genie even if your Riding Hood was good, and is still good. And it makes all the units kind of feel the same. You can have thoughts about each one. Me as a Forest Faction player, a lot of my gear is geared towards Forest Faction, so I'm already set there. And so, like, I really want to use this unit. I think it looks really cool. I think it plays really cool. But beyond that, I have a max Spirit Master. And it feels like is this going to do more than Spirit Master damage? Maybe. Is it more fun to play? Probably. But the more fun to play is really the only reason why I would be getting it. Not because I would specifically think that it does more damage than Spirit Master. It just looks really fun to play. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know when this event, the patch drops. Presumably whenever the event happens, that is when the Festival of Talents event. I don't remember if it was on the YouTube, because they did a calendar. That might be the something new. The Festival of Talents might be the something new. I don't think an event lasts for that long though. I don't remember how long the old Festival of Talents happened, but that is where we're getting this. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's going to take you a very long time to max this out, so don't think too hard about this unit. But yeah,